Welcome to The Explainer. You know, sometimes a single conversation, a single speech, can change everything. Today, we're going to unpack one of the most intense psychological showdowns in all of ancient literature. It's an incredible story about guilt, forgiveness, and how one man's desperate plea managed to rewrite decades of family trauma.
So let's just dive right in. We're talking about a super high-stakes moment where not just a family's future, but really a whole nation's future is hanging by a thread, and it all comes down to what happens in one room in ancient Egypt.
Okay, so here's the scene. Picture this. We're inside an Egyptian palace. You've got this guy, Judah, and he's standing before this incredibly powerful viceroy, the second in command of all of Egypt. And he is pleading, just begging, for the freedom of his youngest brother, Benjamin, who's just been framed for theft.
And Judah's plea here, it's absolutely gut-wrenching. The guy is terrified. But what's really interesting is that his terror isn't just for his brother. It's for his old father Jacob back home. He knows with 100% certainty that if they return without Benjamin, the grief will literally kill his dad.
But see, this isn't just about saving his father. This whole moment is a chance for some profound personal atonement for Judah. You have to remember, decades before this, Judah and his brothers did something terrible. Out of jealousy, they sold a different brother, their father's favorite, into slavery. And now, faced with losing another beloved brother, Judah makes an offer that is just unbelievable.
He offers himself, his own life, his own freedom, in exchange for Benjamin. Now, for the other brothers standing there, who know their dark, shared secret, this is jaw-dropping. This one offer completely flips the script and changes the entire dynamic in the room.
So why does he do it? Why this? Why now? Well, the great medieval scholar Rashi gives us this incredible window into Judah's head. See, Judah had personally sworn to his father that he'd protect Benjamin. He truly believes that if he fails, he'll be damned not just in this life, but in the afterlife too, an outcast in both worlds. For him, the stakes could not possibly be higher.
And Rashi also points out that Judah makes a really logical argument here. It's not just emotional. He's basically saying to the viceroy, look, be practical. You want a slave? I'm your guy. I'm strong, I'm fit for battle, I can work. This kid, he's none of those things. Take me instead. It's a better deal for you.
And hearing this completely selfless plea from Judah, this profound sign of change, well, the powerful Egyptian viceroy can't take it anymore. Because secretly, that viceroy is their long-lost brother, Joseph in disguise. And he just hits his breaking point.
He just screams, "Have everyone withdraw from me." Now, on the surface, this looks like a total loss of control, right? A guy just losing his composure. But Rashi, he shows us there's a much deeper, much more compassionate reason for this outburst. This isn't an emotional breakdown. Rashi says it's an act of incredible mercy. Think about that. Even in his most vulnerable, broken moment, Joseph's first instinct is to protect his brother's dignity. He wants to save them from the public humiliation of this reveal.
And so the room clears. For the first time in over 22 years, Joseph is totally alone with the brothers who betrayed him, the ones who sold him into slavery. And the truth, well, it finally comes out.
I mean, even with the doors closed, you just can't contain this kind of emotion. All those years of pain and longing just pour out of him in a wave of sound so powerful that it echoes through the palace halls.
And then he says it. 3 simple words in Hebrew. Ani Yosef. I am Joseph. In that single instant, their entire reality is just shattered. The powerful Egyptian ruler they've been terrified of is the brother they thought was long dead.
The brothers were dumbfounded, but that word doesn't quite do it justice. Rashi explains that the Hebrew word used here, nivhalu, means something deeper. It's not just shock, it's a shame. So profound, so soul-crushing that it literally paralyzes them. They can't even speak.
And Joseph sees it immediately. He sees their terror, sees them physically pulling away from him out of shame. And in another incredible act of compassion, his whole demeanor changes. He goes from being the powerful viceroy to the gentle brother, trying to close that gap between them. Come here, he says softly. Come closer to me.
Now, what Joseph does next is maybe his most brilliant and merciful move of all. He doesn't lecture them. He doesn't demand an apology. Instead, he completely reframes their entire shared traumatic past.
He walks them through this kind of masterclass in psychology. First, he tackles their guilt head-on. Don't be distressed. Then he does something amazing. He takes the blame away from them entirely. "It wasn't you who sent me here," he says. Then he gives them a new story. It was God. And finally, he gives that new story a noble, higher purpose. It was all done to save life.
And this reframing is incredibly urgent. This isn't just a nice little theological chat. Joseph tells him there are still 5 years of a brutal, deadly famine left. His whole new story has a very practical, life-or-death purpose. Their entire family needs to trust him, and they need to trust him now.
So this is the crucial point. Joseph gives them a new story to believe in. A story where they aren't the villains who sold their brother into slavery, but were actually, unwitting agents in a grand divine plan for survival. He gives them a way out of their own shame.
And this leaves us with a really powerful question, doesn't it? This ancient story suggests that maybe the greatest act of forgiveness isn't about erasing the past, but about rewriting what it means. The power to reframe our own narrative, well, that just might be the ultimate key to reconciliation and moving forward.